Welcome back, episode 45 of the Legends and Dragons podcast here at the Legends Lair in Hurst, Texas. The Chance Burleson.
That's Jimmy Klaus over there.
And we have a special guest today, Cody Nolan. I've been excited about this one.
Me too.
Because you and your fighting experience. Hey, man, thanks for the shirt.
I know. That's so cool.
It's super soft with this right here. I like it because I always say, so this is what? This is your...
So that's the team I train MMA and Muay Thai under right now. It's Brazilian TKO. So...
What about these others? What about all this?
All my sponsors on the back. We got, obviously, Alliance Jiu-Jitsu forward. That's where I do my Jiu-Jitsu and stuff. A lot of my MMA training. Henzo Gracie, obviously, that's where we're at. That's where I coach at. Then I have Embark Armory. So my buddy out of Allen, he builds AKs, really good AK builder if anyone's looking for any work. And then jewelry company, 10 Jewelry, Dental Impact Designs. My buddy's shoe company. I can never pronounce it properly, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to butcher it. And then Unrivaled Technologies is a muzzle component company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does one go about getting sponsored? So you just go like door to door, be like, hey,
I just have, friends who have companies. Those are all pretty much buddies of mine. Okay. So I just like, hey man, I'm going to throw your logo on my shirt for free. Can I do that? Sure thing. You know what I mean? So,
right. And then if you start winning, they start paying.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to. Yeah.
So, yeah.
How many fights have you done? Like, not fights like a street fight.
I have 3 Muay Thai fights, and then I'm supposed to have my MMA debut coming up soon. So.
Very cool. Where at Arizona?
It was supposed to be at Billy Bob's both times, and then it's both been canceled. So both have been canceled due to unfortunate circumstances. But what happens? The first one, the opponent pulled out due to injury, which hope he's doing good. And then the second one, we had that big ice storm.
Yeah.
So Fort Worth canceled it, and then they moved it for the 23rd of January. But I was at a SHOT Show. And I already had a plan working for a company out there, so I had to pretty much tell them, okay, I can't do it.
Okay. So, is it rescheduled already for? Does it have?
They offered me March 21st, but one of my best friends is getting married. Shout out Chris, and so I'm gonna be at the wedding that night. Okay. So I wasn't gonna do the fight when I already have the wedding plans. So, they didn't have anything on the books at the time up until January 17th, I think is what he told me. So I told him, hey, put me down for July 17th. I think did I say January?
Yeah.
My bad. July 17th, I meant, not January. And so July 17th right now, I'm on the books. Hopefully they can, they have a opponent or somebody like that's fine.
So what happens next? So let's say you do this MMA at Billy Bob's.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just continue to climb through
Yep, I just continue to fight for this promotion. It's XKO. That's who I'm doing it for. It's Extreme Knockout. So just a couple fights, an amateur. And if I'm good enough and they like me, they might offer me a pro fight, something like that. And then take the pro fight and see what happens.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm 32, so it's not like a big goal of mine to super go pro or go big with it. A big part of me fighting and doing it is because I am coaching now, and so I have to do it right by my students, getting in there and understand, doing everything properly, knowing what it's like, going through the steps, going through all the process, and then that way I can transition that to teaching my students hey, this is what you need to do, prepare yourself. This is what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Can't get somebody to a place you've never been.
Exactly. And so I just want to be able to even if I never go pro, that's fine by me, right? I could say I should have done this 10 years ago, right? But for me now, it's I'm coaching, so I feel to do right by my students, I need to get in there, get after a few more times, and hey, this is what you need to be prepared.
I'm so happy to hear that, because one of the things that I'm inspired by the people that lead me. And I have noticed that as a coach, as a teacher, as a sensei, as whatever you want to call it, the most powerful vehicle for training a student is the force behind them being inspired by what you've done. Like you can talk a good game, like you can even be a really good teacher, but if they're not trying to aspire to a level that you're at or that you've been, otherwise it's a sales pitch.
Yeah.
That you don't actually have the product.
Right.
You're just trying to convince them that you have the product. And so
I don't want to be like a faker.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but even if like, okay, so my teacher, Hanshi, because I had to pick my teacher after my dad passed, I had to kind of, when you lose your instructor, you become a Ronin, and you have to like find in shops for somebody to train under.
Right.
And this guy's 66, 67 years old. And Cody, he's in better physical condition and fighting shape than anybody I've ever met at any age.
Right. I mean, how many black belts does he have?
It's 10 in 10 different styles. Wow. He's a 9th degree in Tracy Kempo. He's a 4th degree in Taekwondo under my dad's instructor. He's trained in Muay Thai for decades. He's 3rd degree in Dosi Pari's stick fighting and blade fighting. He's a 4th degree in Okinawan Kobudo. He's a 5th degree under Pedro Sauer in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, he's just a walking encyclopedia who can do it all. And what happens is that creates a carrot for me. I'm like, okay, so that's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And so I'm pulled there naturally.
Right.
Versus him grabbing me and twisting me and trying to force me.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what you're talking about. It's like, I'm going to do this
Right.
so that I actually have something to give to my people.
Exactly. Right. And that's kind of like my mindset. Like, I'm just, like I said, I just turned 32. So I'm on, I don't want to say the tail end of my age for like being at your peak for the sport. But I mean, in truth, like for MMA fighters, you have like a good 5 to 6 years of good prime in you, right? Unless you're like in the top echelon where guys could be in there for 15, 12 years, like Randy Tour, these guys can just be at that level, right? But so yeah, just like you said, for me, I just want to inspire like Luke, and 14. I love that kid.
Well, dude, I seen Justin, man. Justin's dropped.
Just dropping the weight. He's killing it too. He's doing really good. He's so motivated to get in there. He's like, I think I'll be ready by September. I'm like, all right, keep coming to class. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I'm not gonna put anybody in there I don't feel comfortable yet. Sure. So I'd already told him, like, hey man, you do got a long way to go. We're gonna get after it. We're gonna do a bunch of sparring sessions and stuff, and you're gonna get comfortable, sit in the pocket and exchange it with somebody and not be scared getting hit, right? Because that's one thing that people feel like they don't grasp is like in a fight you're getting
it is like
there's no you're not like some of these guys back here that can just dodge everything. Right. These guys got.
And we're just guessing they could.
Exactly. Right. I'm sure that these guys got hit 1,000 times. So it's one of those things. It's like you're gonna have to get hit, and that's what my coach told me. Like, you get hit them two more times.
Yeah,
Chris, I say it all the time. My coaches say it. Boss said it. So it's like it's just one of those things, man. You got to just get that mindset,
Yeah, that's what my teacher teaches us too. And then we just have to get comfortable. I say comfortable. You got to get used to getting
exactly. I don't know if anyone can be really comfortable getting hit. Right?
So that's my question. So I actually have a problem on the other side of this.
Good.
Yes, you do. Listen, this is problem.
So I have a unique problem. Okay. Because I started training when I was 4. So I have been sparring and getting hit and hitting. I don't have a memory of my life where that built up. Okay. I just don't have a memory. It is which is cool for me because I don't connect anger with violence. Like, I just don't. Like, I'm unfightable. In the street, like I'm just people like, don't mess with Chance. I'm the best person to mess with. I won't fight. Like, I just don't equate getting mad with hitting somebody. Right?
Makes sense.
The problem though, Cody, is I'm incredibly comfortable in the pocket, and I just hang out.
Yeah, he does.
And I will stand there and I get hit so well. I'm pretty sure that's what's wrong with me.
I know, man. Fighting you and Valdez are almost the same. So my team master Valdez is a Taekwondo. because all they charge like no matter how many times you can get a side kick on them or any sort of
I just walk them. I just walk them back.
and I'm like, what?
But I'm pretty sure I have I should have been Stephen Hawking wise, and now I'm this student from Disney. So Stephen and Blas are both. They're like, dude, quit hanging. Like, get in, get out.
Yes.
I'll just get in the pocket.
just
I'll make
hang
a
out
picnic, and I'll just hang out there and I get hit too much is what I'm trying to say.
So I hear that. I mean, when I first started, that's kind of how my game was get in. Everything, I just try to bull rush them.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, got to the point where Blas be like, bro, you're so tall. Like, use your arms.
Right.
And then it's like, Chris did the same thing. And then I finally I was like Toko and John going under down. And man, it's like, they just bred it into me like long arms.
Yeah. That's what Stephen's working with me.
So it's one of those things where now I will admit my game has gotten a lot better since sure. But yeah, that's something I'm trying to teach myself. It's long arms, you know what I'm saying? You work your distance. Now, if you're short and you got those long T-Rex arms, get it tight. Make sure, like you said, in and out.
Right.
So
well, let's introduce you to your students.
Yes.
Let's get to know Cody. Where are you from?
So originally, I was born in Arizona, and then me and my mom, she got a job offer, and so we moved to Texas. It's 2 weeks left of 7th grade because she thought I was going to make friends before the summer. No,
I like it.
yeah, so that was her mindset. So I want to say I was like 12. I don't know when I moved here. So.
And where'd you move to this area?
Yeah, we moved like 2 blocks from the house I'm in now because we were renting and built the subdivision behind us yet. And so that first year where we were in the rental, she bought the house, and so we're in the house.
So what school district again for you?
I went to Fossil Greenwich.
Okay.
4 years in Keller, but they rezoned it a few years back, so we're in Fort Worth technically.
Yeah. They need that a lot.
And so I guess she pays into 2 taxes now. Or something.
Yeah, this is fun. Adulting, stars.
Yeah.
Do not.
But no, it's technically Keller School District. I want to say.
Okay. So you graduated here. Did you go to college?
I did about a year and a half at TCC, something like that. Not too much. School was never something I enjoyed a whole bunch. I guess I never was someone that liked just sitting in a classroom and listening to somebody. I like to be more active.
Right.
So,
obviously you're more hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on.
That's the reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So what got you into martial arts?
Honestly, weight. I was over 400 pounds at one point in my life.
Okay.
Big old boy. And it just health and weight, really. I loved the sport. I had me and my buddies all the time, especially in high school. We'd always go watch UFC fights. And they would pile 20 of us at Buffalo Wild Wings and just hanging out all night.
Right.
And I'm sure they hated it. But no, great memories there. And I just always loved the sport and everything like that. And I want to say it was after football, my senior year. Okay, so let me rephrase that. There was a few times before then that I would just go to my buddy's house because he trained. And we would just wrestle around in his upstairs. Watching pride fights and stuff.
Right.
And then after football, senior year, I just needed to find something to do. And so I got into that and I started training a little bit. And then I stopped for a little while. And that's when I blew up my weight. I got real big.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, man, this is not good. And so I had to change my lifestyle and stuff. And my buddy had started with Sam Snow.
Okay.
Yeah. So he,
my buddy Joshua Meredith trains over at Snow.
Yeah. And when he was at Snow's, we were at a cheerleading gym that his parents owned. And when they were back in the corner and they had maybe not even half the size of this man.
Right.
And there was 6 dudes in there just rolling jiu-jitsu. And then the rest of the gym was just cheerleaders.
Right.
So it's kind of funny. But went in there one day with him and just started rolling and just got hooked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what triggered the help? I mean, other than if somebody, was it you went to the doctor and was hey, man, you got some pounds?
Not necessarily. I had been to the doctor a few times. They're hey man, your blood pressure's a little high. Sure, Shane, you need to kind of figure something out with that. And but really, it was just myself.
Good.
Yeah. So
Self-awareness.
yeah. So kind of a slight heartbreak, and then it was like a slight like looking at myself in the mirror one day and just being like, just disgusted.
Don't really chicks will do that.
Yeah.
You can make you like,
Yeah, so it was a little bit of that, and then a little bit of just me looking in the mirror, and I'm like, oh man, I really got to change something. And
so when you started jiu-jitsu, how old were you? Just right out, you said about 19?
yeah, I want to say, I think I was 18 when I officially started with Sam.
Okay.
So it was December 2012,
Okay.
I want to say.
So you started there, and then how long did you do jiu-jitsu?
Oh,
Before dabbling?
I kind of, well, Chris was at Sam's.
Okay.
I don't know if he was, I think, yeah, he was training jiu-jitsu under Sam, I think, at the time. I may have this wrong. But I met Chris Gray like the same time I met Sam, or he was doing Muay Thai at the Sam's or whatever. And so I'd done a few classes at Sam's, and it was, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 month gap where like I had gone to that gym and like trained a few times with them, and then the cheerleading gym like moved or like they'd like left. So Sam's parents gave him that whole facility. So we like, and like I remember coming in, God, it's been so long, but I'd only been in like maybe 2 months, and I was helping me put the gym together.
Oh.
And so that's when they started doing like more Muay Thai and stuff like that, because we had like just huge
Right.
And I was just sitting there, and Chris had been there, just gone after it with his small group of guys. And I don't remember, just like one day I was just like, I want to try it. Tried it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then trained under Chris Gray for many years up until pretty much until COVID. There was like a small year and a half gap where Sam ended up moving, and he moved a little further away, so I trained under Bloss at Coors.
Okay.
Because he was closer to me. So I went to Core, trained there for like a year, and like some change.
Bloss's school.
Yeah, Bloss's school at Core, and then he ended up selling and moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I went back and started going back to Sam's. But there's a lot of time where, like, 3 months I would take a break.
Sure.
Just take life and do something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then come back and be motivated. Did it 6 months, you know what I mean? And then back off for like another month or two. So, but yeah, that's good.
And so it sounds to me like you have a lot of experience with something that is still kind of plagues me a little bit. And that is, I know this isn't true. I know what I'm about to tell you is not true, but it does feel like this. It feels like life is constantly poking me to knock me off my routine and my ritual and my game. I know that's not true. I know it is. I know that there's nobody twisting their mustaches in the corner going, haha, let's see if he can stay consistent now. Yeah, I know that's not true, but it feels like that sometimes because, Hanshi talked about this at the last Pro Mac. You really got to come to the next Pro Mac at our school. Chip Townsend, they're going to have it at Abilene this year. But yeah, Chip's a good friend of mine. So, quiet down.
Bless you, Mickey.
So, ritual is a routine with mindful intent. He says that, a routine is just something that you do, but a ritual is something you're emotionally and spiritually invested in, right? And so going to the gym, do a training with Muay Thai at 3 o'clock today with Bloss, and I'm going to hate him the whole time. The whole time. I'm just like about to vomit, this what is it, right?
Actually, I prayed for Bloss this morning. I'll let you know if it works.
Hold on. What did you pray for Bloss?
For him to be nicer to us, probably.
Have a good day. And
Right.
So you think that he projects his dull out on you guys?
Yeah.
He's having a bad day.
By the way, I'm going to blame you after my lesson for praying for it. The point being is that I constantly feel like I'm knocked off my routine by this, that, and the other. Like something as simple as just getting sick for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Getting back on my ritual is so hard to do. It feels like I'm starting it for the first time
100%. I know exactly.
when just 72 hours has gone by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is my biggest struggle. So I do in our classes here, we do what we call mat chats. Like we have life skills that we work on, right? And so for the last 10 weeks, we've been working on perspective and how perspective shapes our relationships and changing our perspective.
That's good.
Because martial arts is supposed to teach us character. It's supposed to. And what I do is I just share the things that I've struggled with for 52 years and how it's a challenge. And I think that people make the mistake of thinking their coach is just 100% disciplined and on, and it never is a problem. And it's not true, is it?
No.
At all. It's not true. Like, it's just as difficult for us as it is for our students.
There's days, I mean, it's been a blessing coaching.
Sure.
There's been, I could say maybe 2 or 3 days where I've, I'm having a bad day. I'm like, I really want to go coach or like, you know what I mean? But it's just.
But then afterwards, it was the best
Afterwards,
thing.
it's the best thing.
Yeah.
It's never, and that's one thing I try to teach my students. Like, the biggest battle is getting there.
Yeah.
Once you're there and you're doing it, your attitude completely 180. You leave. Every time you leave in the gym, you're feeling accomplished. You're happy with yourself. You're like, okay, let's go.
Right.
You know what I mean, like, you feel like you could take on the next challenge.
Right.
It's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, coaches aren't perfect. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and the thing is that this is one of the things that I've been digging into lately, Jimmy. So we have this concept, humanity, right? Where, we're going to work on our spiritual life.
Exactly.
I'm going to work on my mind. I'm going to work on my body. And I'm starting to think that there's no line between those three things. No. You can't work on your body without helping your mind and your spirit. Like, think about when you are mentally absolutely at your limit with anxiety and stress and depression and all that, it physically affects your body.
Yeah.
So like yes, do meditation and prayer. Yes, read books. Yes, go to the gym. But doing any of those helps the other two.
Yeah.
Right. It really, that's why martial arts is, martial arts trained and taught properly changes lives.
It's like, 100%. Yeah, change your mind.
Exactly.
I mean, I told Sam, I've told him multiple times, like, just in different ways, I'm like, bro, you saved my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't go there and like meet him and him being like so inviting and so like, hey man, like, let's get after it. Like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I mean, I take it into account that let's just say when I officially started with him and Chris, I think my first 7-8 months, I dropped like 80 pounds. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And like, I remember when I actually saw the difference was I went from a size 46 to I'm at a 38 now. I can wear a 38 pretty comfortably, but I mean, that's huge.
Right. Did you say 400 at one point?
Yeah, I was about, my peak weight was about 407. And that was in, I want to say 2012. That was my first year of like college, because I mean, all I was doing was I was going to TCC, and then so I really wasn't doing anything. Sure. My buddy had an apartment at UNT, so every weekend we were out there.
Of course, yeah, just
like, and
you see how many empty calories I go through my body.
Well, how much you weigh now?
Right now I'm probably walking around about 255. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
I got down for my fight. I got down to 240. So
okay.
My fight weight was gonna be 240. That's my goal.
So his fight July. What's your weight?
July 17th. So I'm still gonna aim to be around that 240 or something like that. So I mean,
about 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah, it's not gonna be bad. I'm already like the max weight I can be is 265.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna I don't have to cut weight technically for the fight. 'Cause it's a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But just to be a little bit faster, a little more lean,
sure,
a little bit, just have a better on my cardio. I think 240 would be a good weight.
Yeah.
So talk about at 407 today, and talk about at 250. What was your mindset and your mental state at 407 versus now at 2? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. So I think the biggest thing is when I was younger and I was that big, I lacked confidence.
Yes.
And that, now I'm not going to say I'm still like somebody who just walks around so confident. And I have my days where I'm like, holy crap. You know,
Right.
But I believe in myself a whole lot more than I did back then. More confident in myself. I've been in some trenches, you know what I mean, doing this sport training, doing tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that, training for just MMA fight. Just the last 6 months, my coaches, John and Wagner, I mean, I'm loving it. You know what I'm saying? There's day, like, when I'm in it, I'm like, oh, God. Like, just get off the John. It's killing me.
Like Joe's here at 3 o'clock today with Blas. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, God, let it end. You know what I mean? But afterwards and, like, all that time in between, I'm so blessed and fortunate to have these guys that are pushing me and, like, getting me to that point of, like, hey, I think just put it like 2 weeks ago, we did some hard sparring, and was Bruno Silva, Wagner, and my coach Sean. Bruno Silva's a UFC, fights May 10th, and I think he's got like 30 pro fights. John's got, I think, 20 plus pro fights. Wagner fought the UFC. He's got 20 something pro fights. And then there's me, 0 pro fights.
That's right.
And I'm in there like, you know, I'm getting tore up a little bit.
But sure.
I'm hanging with
Right,
you know,
right.
I'm landing 1 or 2, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so, like, you know, I left there, I had a black eye, some markings on my face, but at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I'm proud of myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I can be in there, like, getting after it. We did 10 3-minute rounds,
Dude,
back to back.
With
So-
3 pro fighters.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think I stopped 1 round where I was like, I'm gonna take a break. So,
That's amazing.
yeah, so I mean, I'm proud of myself. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that where it's like, you may have your hard days where you're like, man, I'm not that good. Especially sometimes you go with your coach. You know, that's their goal. You know what I mean? They want you to feel like you can't win, right? So that way it pushes you.
Sure.
Like
To take step ahead.
That is a good way of saying it.
Like-
Coaches push you to where you feel like you can't win.
Yeah.
When you're fighting someone.
Exactly. Like because that's the thing is, like, you know, they tell me all the time, there's no winners in training, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's something I had to learn, right? When I'm in training, you know, they're on top of me, just, you know, destroying me, and I'm getting kind of frustrated. And I get what I'm saying. He's like, don't get mad. Just figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Fight through it. You know, there's been times where I'm like, get off me, bro. I'm tired. He's like, no stopping the fight. Right. Come on, don't quit. That's the whole point of the training is just don't quit. Right. And so,
The people who don't make it in martial arts are the people who can't get their brain wrapped around that you're not supposed to win practice.
Yeah.
If they're trying to win practice, then they're constantly going to be pissed off, upset, depressed, sad, defeated, angry, or proud of themselves for beating up their friend, which it's practice.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, that concept we talk about if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
100%.
So because I've been doing this a long time, I'm surrounded by, I know this is a really bad thing that I'm about to say. Don't tell anybody that I said this, okay? But if I'm not purposeful, I can be surrounded by lackeys.
Yeah.
People who think that I hung the moon and I'm the best thing in the world. Right. Because they're my students, of course they think that.
yeah.
So if I don't on purpose go find other rooms where I'm the shittiest person in the room,
Yeah.
if I don't do that, I don't get any better. I will just get as good as my best student.
Exactly.
You know, and so I'm constantly finding people that are better than me.
Challenging you.
Yes.
If putting a different obstacle in front of you that you're having to get.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's at with me. It's like,
Bless you, Nikki.
Shush.
that's kind of exactly what happens with like me with John, or, you know, training with John Wagner and like Bruno, all these guys that are up, like they're just levels above me, right? Like well, you know, there's been days where I get done training with them, I'm sitting in my car just like, dude, I'm like, dude, just sitting there, whatever song comes on, I'm just like,
Whatever.
yeah, and I'm just like,
Taylor Swift, it's fine.
But like, am I even good?
Right.
Like, I've been doing this 12, 13 years. Like, I even like,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And then it's like, you go and like I'm a coach, so it's like I go to train with my students, and me and Justin will spar or whatever lightly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not not in the mean way, but it's like I'm like, okay, like maybe I do know what I'm talking about, but it's just like it's just
highly important for you to train with obviously your students,
Yeah.
so you can test your skill, and then train with those that are much better than you.
And then exactly, or like I'll spar with some of the guys that maybe train at that gym, at that Alliance or Rizzo TKO that I don't see all the time because I'm coaching.
Right, sure.
So like I'll see them on a Saturday, and then they'll be like, "Dude, okay, let's do some light sparring," and then I'm light sparring, and I'm like,
All right, I got it.
I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And I have to like tone it down. I want to, play the fight a little bit more than I normally would. Where it's like I go to Wagner and he's like, "Oh, brother,
Direct.
okay," you know what I mean? And that just the level goes. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
Dad tried to teach this to me early, and I did listen to a lot of him. I mean, he was my dad, so I ignored a lot of what he said. One of the things that he talked to me about when he knew that because I'm one of 7 kids, and I'm one of the only ones that did martial arts. And but he talked about a teacher is actually a conduit. Okay, we're a thing that pours into other people.
Exactly.
Which doesn't work if we're not being poured into.
Exactly. Well, it's like
if you're not the worst teachers are the ones without teachers.
Yeah.
You have to be a student.
And that's the thing with martial arts. You're never not learning something.
Right.
There's always something to be taught or like learn. Like
100%.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in certain arts there might be a point where you just hit the echelon.
Find another art.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, martial arts as a whole, there's so many avenues, outlets, different things that you
need
learn.
1,000 lifetimes.
Exactly. Like it'd be crazy to even think to comprehend I've mastered it all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What's really cool about my friendship with Bloss is that with a blade, he's better than me. He's clearly brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, clearly better than me. Muay Thai, way better than me. But we do Kyokushin together. And when it comes to traditional Japanese martial arts, we're doing katas, and I'm like, I'll help you.
I got this.
Yeah. My time to shine. You know what I mean? And so it's really cool that everybody's got their thing.
Yeah, their little niche.
Yes, yes.
That's the thing. What I love about it is everyone's different.
Yeah.
In different ways. And that's what I decided to tell. Like you were talking about, it's just like a flow.
Yes.
And everything I touch, my teachers tell me, and I teach my students, is it's just a river going down a mountain.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it all starts at the top, and it just makes its way down, just funneling everything that I've been taught. I'm giving it right back to you guys, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Yes.
And that's why I'm going to keep training over
Right.
the years. I have to keep doing it.
But dude, you got the right mindset too, man. You are surrounding yourself with people who are better than you.
Right.
I mean, listen, you don't have an inflated ego, if you will. Not like with your students. You tell your students, like, listen, I have a bad day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to be on the mat.
I'll straight up show them video of me getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
This is the next level, right?
Buckle up.
Yeah. We're at 0 and 5 right now. This is about 15 or 20, okay?
Right.
We're going to get there, but it's going to take a little time. That's like with Justin. Like, I love the kid.
Yeah.
And he's so motivated and he wants to get after it.
What does that do for you? Because he's so motivated, he's so hungry for you.
Yeah, he's so hungry. And I mean, it's great for me, but I'm like, I just have to tell him, like, bro, you got to go through the process. So you got to go make sure you skip a step, right? Because that's what, injuries happen.
Yeah.
That's where, a guy goes in head too high, gets knocked down, and then it again comes back to confidence. They're like, well, I'm not good enough for this. I can't do it, or something you know what I mean? And then that's what happens to a lot of guys. They just stop because they're like, I'm not good enough. Like, well, for instance, I had a new guy try out, and he did no-gi with me, so we rolled. I'm a purple belt, so I know a little bit about jiu-jitsu. And, we were getting out there, and I'm a big guy, so it's like, I took him down, got on top of him. I wasn't like mauling him, but I held my weight there, and I'm like, just try to get out. Do whatever you feel like you can to just get me off of you, right? Like, I want you to work. Okay. I mean, didn't know what he was really doing. He's a trial class guy, but he was struggling. He was having a hard time. I had to stop. I'm like, hey, do this because you're going against yourself here, right? You're fighting your own self, trying to do this instead of just moving that arm. you know what I mean, or whatever it is. When we got done, blah, blah, blah. I could tell he was just like, God, like just gassed out of his mind. And, you know, he had my number because he tried Muay Thai. So he texted me that night and was like, if I can't get better, I'm not meant for this. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, man, that's the worst mindset to have. Like, you know what I mean? If I said that to myself, I would have quit 6 months in and never been where I'm at.
Right. So years ago, so I started Taekwondo with Master Andaz over at Excel Academy. I joined the mats after kidney cancer. I blew up, if you will, the next year, just kind of sympathy eating.
Cancer free.
Well, it wasn't cancer. You know what? That's the weird thing. And yes, I was cancer free, but then I also had my mind playing with me like, dude, if you didn't get that kidney stone, and if they didn't if the kidney stone didn't get stuck and they did surgery, that mass would still be growing to the point to where this, you know,
Who knows what would happen?
because they can't detect the kidney. Usually they detect kidney cancer from something else. And so it was that. So it was playing on. So it was playing with my brain, like, dude, if I can have a kidney stone. And then I was having like survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
So like, wait, these people want me. But anyway, so my son was doing Taekwondo, so I jumped over there. It's not like a traditional Taekwondo stuff because I got bad hips and everything. We throw a lot of hands, we throw a lot of feet, we do a lot of stuff with it.
He's Taekwondo, but kind of like an unaffiliated, unconnected to any larger organization.
Yeah.
So more of a fighting Taekwondo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's an impressive and he won.
Yeah, I won. They would say I was perfect. But anyways, all that to say is when I was testing for my black belt, I was getting smoked. I was getting smoked by guys like you, probably younger than you. So I was, my 40s, getting ready, my early 40s. I'm 45 now, so it's 40 something. So I called Chance after getting smoked. You know, I was getting smoked by 20-year-olds that had been training since they were at 5. And so I called Chance. I was like, dude, I don't even know why I even tested for black belt.
Right.
I was like, I'm not good at that. Chance had to walk me off that ledge. Like, listen. He goes, how many 40-plus-year-olds right now are testing for their black belt?
Exactly.
Yeah, none. He goes, and if they are, very, very few. And so Chance was like, dude, you're fighting against guys in their 20s that are faster. And so the thing, like you said, when you were fighting those 3 pros, is because I was fighting them, all my other fights slowed down because they were so fast that I had to react and except for Chance. Chance is sort of
Well, we're running our own race. That's the thing that people get out of there. I'm not like, if you and I go out there and fight after the podcast, I'm not fighting you. I'm fighting how good I was yesterday. That's what I'm fighting against. You're not my opponent. My yesterday's skill is my opponent. I'm just trying to be a little bit better than I was. And if you're running your own race and you're not racing somebody else, you're never going to be disappointed because you're always making progress. And the better is always good enough.
1% every day.
Yeah.
And that's like,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I mean, just piggybacking kind of off that, it's like, like, I don't know, for me, it's whatever, like you said, every bad days, you're like, there's days where I feel like I'm just never going to be good enough, but I try to tell myself, I improved this, I did that, so I'm going to keep going because no matter what, it's one step closer to where I want to be.
Exactly.
And going back to saying about racing, for me, I feel like it's just crossroads, right? So if we beat into each other, like we just crossing, you know what I mean? Whatever happens, shake hands, say, man, good. I learned something from you learned something from me. Let's get after it. That was our fight. That was our exchange, and then we go.
Exactly.
So that's what's happening.
Let me ask you boys something. So for me,
I was young and needed the money.
You were.
Okay, sorry. Other questions? So go ahead.
No. I mean, that was
curious.
that was the answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, so for me, I always feel like I'm competing against not me. Like, not again. I mean, yeah, if I were to fight you guys, I would obviously hope to at least not die, right? Learn something new. But every day, like right now, I'm at day 70, 77 or 78 with Critty Deck, like in a row. For like, ever since I started with him, I haven't missed a day. Good for you. For the work.
I have my workout with him later too.
So but that's the thing. It was like I'm not competing against anyone. I'm just competing. Like if I missed a day, dude, I'm hard on myself. Dude, I missed a day. Like I've been hitting 10,000 steps a day since 2018. I've only missed like 3 or 4 because of Dean's and can't oncologist or something like that, right? But anyways, but that's my mindset, right? Do you guys? Is that
100%.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I feel like kind of going off that, it's like, I feel like that should be everyone's mindset, right? Because a lot of people do get too caught up in paying attention to what other people are doing, and they feel like, they're trying to compare their lives with somebody else, and then it's like, man, some people just grasp it different than others. You know what I mean? Like, you can come in and you can show somebody something once and they could get it, right? But you have another guy come in and it takes him 2 or 3 classes to get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you never know. In 6 months, that dude that takes him a little bit to grasp it
Could have the snowball effect.
exactly. Yeah. That switch could hit where he just all of a sudden he's seeing everything. Like he's rating it. He's not hesitating, right? Where the other guy, could have been naturally good, but he's gotten to the point where now it's getting a little harder for him. It's being more challenging, and he's maybe not be used to that, so it slows him down. He's, whatever it is, I don't know.
a technique?
Everyone's different. So
A technique that I use, of course, with people I roll with and transplant kill is like I wait for them to gas themselves out. So I wait. So when I work, when I'm on the bed, like my last jiu-jitsu tournament, right? So I mean, I got third. Got third. Thanks, man. I got third, but then I was licking my wounds. Right? I was like, man, my hips were better, my back was better. I could have got second or third, or first or second. And so, of course, my wife, maybe chance again, walked me offside, and she didn't get it. But my technique is I'm going to continue to work because I know the statistics. People are going to fade away.
Exactly.
So I'm going to keep moving forward while everyone else fades away. And I'm like,
you just tell you
oh man, you've missed a match for it. Like people, I come back to jiu-jitsu like after a year. They're like, hey, Jimmy, you got really better. I'm like,
Yeah, because I didn't take a year off.
exactly. It's just map time.
Well, and comparison is the thief of joy.
100%.
And that's the thing, is that when I compare myself to Jimmy and he's better, that makes me feel bad. Okay? But if I compare myself to Jimmy and I'm better, and that makes me feel good, what I'm not realizing is that's bullshit. And that will change places. So if that's what I'm holding on to, it's temporary. And that's what I was telling you about the competition.
Yeah.
If you're focused on the medals, you're never going to be happy.
100%.
You're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
I believe in competition, hardcore. I really believe in it, but not for the same reasons other people do, like stats and points and medals. That doesn't matter. Competition is a pressure cooker. The only other way to pressure test martial arts is to go out and get in street fights, which is completely against everything in martial arts.
Not do that.
So the next best thing is competition.
Exactly.
And you're never going to try as hard as you will try if you're competing.
Challenge yourself enough.
That's the only thing you get out of it, and it's enough. If you never get a medal, you're better than you would have been if you hadn't competed.
Absolutely.
And that's the win.
Absolutely.
And better is always good enough.
I mean, I still battle that, right? I still battle it.
I know you do.
But I battle it now a lot less
Yeah.
than I did years ago. Right? Because I'm like, dude, how many broken veterans, which, by the way, guys, We Defy Foundation, go support.
Yep.
But how many other veterans are out there getting their butt kicked? Like
Jimmy, the older we get, the more we're jumping up in the percentile. So I don't know if you've ever seen it. He was on the Rogan podcast, but he was talking, he was one of these fitness gurus, but he was talking about muscle strength, VO2 max, cardio, you know what I mean? Blood oxygenation. But basically they were talking about there are 5 levels. Most of humanity, especially in America, is in the lower 2, right? Like obviously we're obese, our blood sugar, our blood pressure, like we're eating ourselves to death. We're sedentarying our life. We're killing ourselves through eating and inactivity.
Yeah.
Right? This whole country, maybe this whole world. I don't know. I don't live anywhere else. Very few people are in the top two, which is basically athletes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or people who live athletically, right? Because there's a lot of people who are not athletes who train like athletes.
They just take care of themselves.
And here's the weird statistic. If you're in that one of those top two levels, you're 85% less likely to die of any cause. Plane wreck, like plane crash, car wreck, like even catastrophic stuff. Staying in the best physical shape that you can is like it shoots you off the charts of longevity. And we still die. Clearly, we die in our 80s, 90s, whatever. But we live until the second we die. Like we're active until that moment versus like wasting away and just wilting. Like, you know, and my dad was pretty active. He was. But the thing is with my dad, he's one of the very few people to die of prostate cancer. Now, every man will get, I don't know if you know this, every man will get prostate cancer. Every single man. But it grows so slowly, you'll die from something else before you die of that. It doesn't grow fast enough.
Yeah.
Something else will get you before that becomes problematic. Right. Unless you're my dad and you're training and it gets ruptured. Okay. And so when that ruptured, the cancer spread out through his intestines.
Yes, that I did not know.
Okay, so he was one of the very few to die of prostate cancer because normally it doesn't rupture, right? And they had to put him on testosterone blockers because testosterone is what feeds prostate cancer. And so the last few years of his life, he was just this ghost. He was a waif because all of his testosterone was gone. But up until then, he was getting up and running up the hills and kicking bags and like he was very active. And so that's what I saw, you know. And then when I went to the Henzo seminar, were you there? Yeah. To see J.D. Shelley. He was the guy who was either 29 or 97. Okay? This long Santa beard, clean shaved bald head, and a perfect physical body.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I was like, that's what it can look like.
That dude, how old was he now?
He's in his 70s, right? And I'm like, okay, so that can be 70, but not accidentally.
No.
I won't just trip and fall into looking like that at 70.
Right.
You know, how hard how disciplined that guy must be.
And that's what it is. So like I tell the kids, I'm like, your future self is going to thank you for what you're doing today.
Oh, man.
Or it can.
Yeah. Or it can't. Because if you want to sit, and that's what I tell a talent, he wants to be really, really good at basketball. I'm like, dude, you could be really good at basketball, but right now you're playing a couple hours on the video game. Your future self is not liking what you're doing right now. So he'll start thinking about it and then go, okay.
So Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai.
Yeah.
What else do you like?
What else do I like?
Firearms.
Yeah, I'm a sponsored shooter, so so I've done a few shooting comps and stuff like that, and that kind of transitions into like fighting in a way, like the mindset. Sure, it's all about training, reps. You know what I mean? And
so what competition? What shooting competition was it? Long range? Was it like
it's like carbine style shooting. Obviously pistol, but it's just like it's more closer range. I think the furthest we usually go is like 300. I mean, I've had one or a few of them where they go out to like 600, be like the furthest.
Yeah.
But I haven't done too much long distance stuff. It's more just like run and gun type stuff. Like they'll have a target, to put like 2 on paper and then 1 on steel, and you're just like running gun. Yeah, that's the proper term for it. But you can do 2 gun. There's 3 gun. I just don't have a shotgun right now. Like a competitive shotgun to use. So
do you run a course?
Yeah.
They'll have so essentially what it'd be is like I have a major coming up next month. It's called Clash Bash. It's a huge AK event. It's the biggest actual AK competition in the United States, I think, right now. Currently, they usually have around 300 shooters. A little over 300 shooters there. So it's considered a major, like a lot of people call it. And that one, it's any AK style rifle. So Just as long as it's AK pattern, it can be really. There's obviously different divisions, different calibers. So like your light calibers, like 5.56, 5.45, stuff like that. And you have your heavy caliber, which is like 7.62, 308, different things. And then you just got your divisions. Then they'll have this one. They're going to have, I think, 8 different stages. So you just rotate throughout the stages throughout the day, and you just run a gun. They'll have an RO there, and they'll say, hey, this is your course of fire. This is how many targets you have. This is your round count, right? That they will say if you hit everything without missing. And you just walk the course. Maybe you got like 5 minutes to walk the course.
Okay.
Check to see where everything's at. And then after that, you just get after it. And then they just calculate your time at the end. And whoever has the slowest time out of the whole thing usually ends up winning. And
Really?
yeah, so it's all hit factor matters on some of them. So like I took 4th in sub gun my last competition. I missed 3rd by 3 seconds.
Wow.
I missed a target. That was a 5-second penalty. So had I not missed that target and took that 5-second penalty, I would have taken 3rd. So it's like it's one of those things. Yeah. I love shooting. I love it just as much as martial arts probably, and I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years competitively.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Jared Roji
Okay.
does he's a competitive shooter. Oh, okay. Yeah. And so Rex is over there at Denzo. Enzo has like 4 or 5 of my black belts now. Swat has a couple of my black belts. One of the things that we do here, when you get a black belt, a Legends black belt or a Pat Burleson black belt is a sampler platter black belt. You have some skill in stand-up fighting. You have some skill in traditional kata. You have some skill with kali, with a blade, with a stick. You have some skill with grab. Like you have a little bit, you're a little bit of jack of all trades. And then once you're a black belt, you have to specialize. And so I require them, if they're going to test for degrees and stripes, they have to put in outside training in another martial art.
Dude, that's so cool.
And competitive shooting is one of their options.
really,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yes. I want, I'm trying to, my goal when I train somebody, because I believe that what we really are, is we're servants. We're not, the worst leaders are the ones that have forgotten that they're servants. Yeah. Our job is to actually help people get better. And the best gift I can give somebody is to show them how big the world actually is.
Yeah.
Instead of that narrow version that they thought they were getting into. I'm going to learn to fight. You think you're going to learn. What you're actually going to learn is the path to peace.
yeah.
Because
And that's what I love about you too, man, because there's a lot of school instructors, a lot of coaches, whatever, that would hate for their student to go learn somewhere else.
oh God, no. Why would I want them to not get better?
Right.
Why cage them? Right.
Right. But how many?
Well, who am I trying to help? Am I trying to help them or my ego?
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
100%.
Because here's the thing, Cody, we know this. There are plenty of potential students. There are more than enough people that need martial arts that I don't, like other martial arts schools are not my competition. Soccer is my competition. The baseball, football, basketball. I hate them.
Yeah.
Only because they rob students.
Right. They take the time. They still.
But we don't need less good schools. We need more good schools.
100%, man. Nate, talk to me about this though. So you're obviously a coach over at Henzo. How did you get to be a coach over at Henzo?
Sorry, I keep hitting my mic. So it's actually crazy. Is Philip Bullock. I actually met him maybe I was maybe doing jiu-jitsu like 2 months at Sam's, 3 months at Sam's. Around the same time I started, I met.
Is he trained over there?
Yep, right. He was a purple belt at the time, I think. He may have only been a blue belt, 4-stripe blue belt. I can't remember exactly. He may have been a purple belt. But yeah, he was training with Sam during the noon class, and I was working I had a job at FedEx at the time, and this kind of goes back to talking about how life kind of feels like it's pulling you away or trying to knock you off your course. Is during that time I was working at FedEx, I had the night shift or early morning, so I'd go in at 3:30 in the morning, I'd get off by 11, have enough time to make it to noon class, do my noon class, go home, sleep for 4 or 5 hours, wake up, go train, hit the 6:30, 7 o'clock class, train at night, and then repeat. Well, I lost my job. So then I quit training. So that was like that gap, you know what I mean? I didn't want to like just show up and not be able to pay Sam. Sure. So I kind of went back to that point. I meant to tell you that. No, I just going to noon class, training, and met Phil. And I remember probably like first time rolling, we went, and I don't know anything. So over here just just like Hulk smash, like, you know what I mean? And he was not as skinny as he is now. Like he was a little thicker then, so he was able to like he was handling it well. Like he was doing good. He had his long hair, goatee, and he was just sitting there. And we got done, and he was just like, "Geez, bro, you're strong," you know. And I'm like, sorry for not cuss, but he was just like, he's like, "You're so damn strong," blah blah. And I was like, "Thanks, you know." I'm 19. I'm just like, yeah. And he was just like, dude, he's like, in maybe 6 months, he's like, I'm not going to be able to do a damn thing to you. Like, you should have told me that. And I was just like, and in my head, I'm like, no way. Like, this dude just submitted me like probably once or twice during that round we rolled. Yeah. I wasn't doing anything to him. It's like, nah, I don't believe it. And about 6 months in, it was like, obviously I wasn't like, he beating him, but I understood what I was doing. It was like, and I was holding my own. Like he wasn't catching me. Defend. Yeah, I was able to defend. Like he was, trying to do stuff. I would see it coming, or I could feel it coming. I'd be like, nope. You know what I mean? Like, the leg off or whatever it is. And so, yeah, I mean, he eventually told, like, he was honest in that way. He's like, bro, just because your size and strength, once you get to that technique, he's like, you're just going to be impossible. Unbeatable. Yeah, you're just going to be impossible to, like, get stuff on.
I haven't even rolled with you yet. Well, thankfully, you have a Muay Thai class.
Yeah, I need to.
Only too bad. Oh, man.
I need to have class. I know. I do need to do more jiu-jitsu over there, so I'm going to try to aim at getting on the mats more with you guys over at Henzo.
Are you, okay, so when they opened up the school over there.
Oh yeah, back to yeah. No, I met Phil doing that and stuff, and so ever since then I've just been friends with him. Like we've just been like, he's such a cool guy. He invited me over like I think that next week for lunch, and we hung out at his place, played Madden in Virginia, and just became super close. And we trained a bunch, and then he ended up. I think he went to Gracie or wherever he went after a while, and we just always have been friends and just training here and there when we can, birthday parties, type of UFC fights at his house, just hanging out. And he became like an older brother, a little older mentor. And, all that stuff went down at Machado's or whatever it was. And he said he just texted me the one day and was like, bro, we're opening up a new gym. Like, we want to have a Muay Thai program. He's like, you're my first person I'm thinking of. And it's, I taught kids over at Alliance under John and stuff like that. And so it was cool, but I never actually I filled in for it in the old class here and there, but never actually been like, hey, this is your program, go ahead and
what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, exactly. And so, but he called me and was just like, hey man, you're my vote. He was like, I'm going to put in a word for you, Greg. And I've met Greg before, but I never really met him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's like, I'll let you know in a couple of weeks, what you need to do. Okay. And I mean, this is all pretty much Phil. He was just like, text me, and he's like, hey man, fill this out. It's your application. He's like, I'm going to get it in with Greg. And they offered Bloss, I believe, at first. And Bloss was just like, no. And like I said, I trained under Bloss. I always been close with Bloss, loved him. And I think he kind of knew that I was next in line, maybe. So he probably was just like, I'll give it to Cody. But that's my way if I feel like, because he came by to the class with me and he was like, man, I'm happy for you. And I was like, dude, thank you for your blessing. It's awesome.
Yeah. But, well, and the thing is and I talk to Bloss every day. At least I check in. He's one of my accountability people. Right. And so one of the things that I've learned is that if I don't check in with a few people every day and let them know what my day was like, it's real easy to fly under the radar and not do the stuff that I know is going to make me feel good, like the working out and the meditation and the this and what did I eat and all that kind of stuff. He's one of the guys, but he's doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like his life looks exactly the way he wants it to look right now. He was so happy when you got there.
He's so amazing. I love blah blahs. I love you, dude.
Yeah, we all do.
However, you're so wrong about Dune. Okay? You're wrong about two things. Dune is a great story, all right? And the Smashing Pumpkins are amazing. And I want you to know that you being right about so many other things is dimmed by how wrong you are about this.
I'm saying, so just the love.
Surprised I'm still friends with him.
You know what? I'm pretty shocked too. So here was my introduction to Muay Thai, learning from Master Valdez. He said, Jimmy, if you ever see an individual with their hands like this, he was like, just walk away. He goes, okay, they'll go right for your legs. I'm like, what? I mean, we do very, I don't want to say, we don't really do any leg kicks. We do a lot of leg checks, right? But we don't really. But so the first time that we had open mat or we spar and he would come in, my fighting Muay Thai guy, and he had his hand, like that. I was like, oh, I'm getting postulated. Well, he tried to. Thankfully, Valdez, I mean, blocked. That's how I broke his leg, broke his foot. It was just all the block checking. So I checked the kick, but I need to probably take a couple of Muay Thai lessons over there. At least get some gloves on and come on, like Cody beat me up. No, why not?
To beat you up. That's the thing with big people have like
Is it a misconception?
I was trying to think of the right way to send it. Misconception with a lot of arts and reality, but I feel like with Muay Thai, people are like, what's Muay Thai? I'm like, it's just kickboxing with knees and elbows, essentially.
Yeah.
But I get like a lot of people, we had the grand opening at Enzo's, I was talking to them, and a lot of them were like, well, I'm afraid to get hit. I don't want to get hit. I'm like, misconception here is you think you're going to come in and be getting hit in class.
Right.
like, unless you want to compete and like you want to fight and stuff like that, you should not be getting hit in the face really during a Muay Thai like class.
It's a conditioning. And you're going to hit the mitts, you're going to hit the bags.
Right. You're going to hit the bags, you're going to be hitting mitts. Like, you're not like, you might be throwing it, hitting someone's hands, but you're not going to be sitting there like tanking shots to the face. Like, that's the misconception. People think they're going to go in and it's just immediate, like, like just blast.
Well, and just like, Dutch style got a bad rap because a lot of them, they do like, we train like we fight. I'm like, how sustainable is that?
Right. Or you'll see like the crazy videos of like, guys just sitting there with their hands behind their backs, and you have two guys just like throwing kicks on them and hitting them in the ribs or like hitting them in the face.
Right.
That's
people don't do that.
Yeah, no, that's like Instagram. Dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Like we aren't really trained.
Well, and something that you said that Chance, that I hear Chance that you said, your dad said, like, how many fighters have we lost?
He goes, how many national champions did we run out the door because of how we used to do it? So we had a blood on the floor culture. That's the culture I grew up in. That's why I was willing from losses fighter to compound fracture my nose. That's just what we did. Right. Like if you didn't have blood on the mat after the class, you didn't have class. Right. That's just, I grew up in that. It was normal for me, right? We weren't mad at each other. We just hit each other.
That was just the old school stuff.
Like when I started martial arts, they made fun of us for wearing sparring gear. Because the people that came before me wore no gear, and so Dad would watch, and he was getting old, right? And he would watch us over here teaching our people, and he'd be like, Chance, you're letting him hit too hard. Chance, you're letting him hit too hard. I'm like, you made me this way. What are you talking about? Right? And he looked at me and and I thought he'd gotten old and soft. He said, Chance, we were wrong.
Yeah.
He goes, I've trained with the best in the world, in the country. The national champions don't do this.
Yeah.
They train touch pressure. He said, think about it. If you had $100,000 purse on the line for fight night, would you risk breaking a knuckle in training? He goes, they're just touch pressure sparring. They don't do that until the fight night. We see the fight night
Flip that switch.
and assume that they're practicing like that. No one's practicing like that except for idiots, and you're an idiot.
Cody, man, as we wrap this up, it's been fun, by the way, man.
I know!
Hey, so a couple things. How can people, if they want to, you do a trial week, right, for Muay Thai, how can they find you? Where can they find you?
Instagram, Sugar Bear Nolan. It's
That's future great.
Every time I see it, I'm like,
Sugar Bear Nolan, that is amazing.
my buddies called me when I was a kid just because I was always a bigger guy, but I was really like, I guess, sweet.
Yeah,
it's always nice. They're always like, well, Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear Nolan.
That's awesome.
I took it's kind of like Sugar Sean. I just took the R off.
That's good.
SUGA Bear Nolan. Instagram. I don't use Facebook too much. I kind of got off of it like years ago during COVID. It was like super depressing. So I just I just got off Facebook as I'll hop on every now and then and like share something, but I'm not usually on there. You can message me, that's fine on there. But it's just Cody Nolan. And then Enzo Gracie. Go and just
What's the website? If I can't remember, is it Henzo Gracie?
it's Enzo Gracie DFW.
It is.
And then the email is the same thing. It's just at gmail.com.
Yep. Okay. So, man, leave us with a good little nugget, man, for anyone that just anything about martial art, man. Those that want to start Muay Thai or those that are
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, my biggest goal right now, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not anybody who's done anything right, but I know the basics, and I feel like I can teach. If you don't know anything, you can come to my class, no problem, and I'll be able to teach you like how to move your feet, how to keep your hands up, how to throw a jab across a hook, the basic stuff. But I'm just going to try to breed confidence in them at first. Like, that was my biggest thing coming up, was believing in myself and having confidence, and kind of transition back to like getting myself to the gym. It's like, man, like,
Yes.
it's like, but so that's my biggest thing is I want to make sure, if you're coming in, we're going to have fun. We're going to, we're all a family. So we're going to joke. We're going to play around. We need to get serious. We're going to get serious.
Yep.
But yeah, I just want to, teach confidence, man. I feel like a lot of people need that.
Yeah. Sweating, smiling, learning.
Exactly. 1% better. Like we talked.
Man, listen, I want you to know, in case you haven't heard this enough, I am proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
I am proud of what you've done, the weight that you lost, the coaching, the teaching, the
Thank you.
1% better every day. So I can speak on behalf of Chance and I and say we're both proud.
Well, and here's the thing. All three of us were really just bad decisions away from the road, the why in the road that took us down 400 pounds and beyond.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I'm a fat guy. I know I am because I've been there.
Yeah.
Like I have that in me. I've let myself go. I've given up and gotten sad and depressed and stayed on the couch and eaten $50 worth of pizza. I mean, hell, I've cried my way through $50 worth of pizza because I knew I was going to feel about it afterwards,
Roller coaster for sure.
But the thing is, people assume that if you're not that, you've never been that. Exactly. And the thing is that we also make the mistake of assuming that everybody at the gym or the Muay Thai class or the Jiu-Jitsu class or whatever class wanted to go. I know all of them. They didn't want to go. Yeah. They wanted to stay home too. They just didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
They just didn't stay home.
Because I think a big thing is it's like, for me, it was, I had to tell myself I hated the way I was more than just getting up.
That's right.
Like, I had to I was like, okay.
Then negotiate with yourself.
Exactly. I hate both of them.
I'm like sitting here, I'm like, okay, I hate myself the way I look more than I needed to go to class.
Right.
So I'm going to go to class.
I still hate that, but not as much as this.
Yeah, what I think was fine. Like, everyone, that's like the thing. It's like, well, kind of, I know we're going to end it here quick, but like when I was at football, I was like, man, practicing football was so dreadful, running, like putting the pads on, doing all that stuff. But you had to do that because of game day, right?
Yes.
Prepare for game day.
Yeah.
And that's the reward. The same thing with fighting.
Yeah, preparation.
It's all preparation. Like for my fight, like I was saying, fight camp is no joke.
Nope.
There shouldn't be any part of fight camp that's fun. You know what I mean? And then your reward is being able to go in the ring and show the artwork.
Thank you. So, Chance, one last note, man. I got a little alert on my phone from Spotify. We hit 1,000 downloads or views or whatever the heck it is like on Spotify. I haven't even looked at
That's ridiculous.
it. Is I haven't even looked.
I think y'all are out of your mind. I don't know why you watch us.
Listen,
Sorry, you guys.
we love you guys, man. Thanks for watching, Cody. Thanks so much for having me or coming on, guys. Till next time.